What's up, goddess? It's day 12, developing better sleep habits and quality sleep. This is habit number 9, which is actually the last of the habits that we're doing. So you can say I saved the best for last because this one is super important. I do not compromise on my sleep. Seriously, I don't. I am not nice when I don't get sleep, and everyone in my house knows that. So it is super important for me to always get a good night's sleep. And not just so that I'm friendly, but for a lot of reasons. A good night's sleep is one of those things that's just vital to all of your health and well-being. I wrote an article on my blog about sleep, so there is a lot that goes into it that I'm not going to include today. I'm going to try to keep it pretty simple for you. But we'll start with, I aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I figure some people can go closer to the 7. Some people can even go up to 9, but that generally, if you go from 7 to 9 hours, that's generally more of a good rule of thumb, but you really have to figure that out on your own. Everyone's sleep number is very different. I used to find that between 7 and 7.5 hours was perfect for me. So if I went over that 7.5 hours, closer to 8 hours, I was actually more exhausted. And when I was under that, although I could still function fine, I was definitely tired. Now I lean closer to 8 and sometimes even 8.5 hours. I want to say that's just because I work out a whole lot more now. So my body requires more rest than it did before. So of course, that's one of those things where you really just have to listen to your body because it will tell you what it needs, and ignoring it can definitely be bad. So I do also take a 20 to 30 minute nap every day when I come home from work. You've watched all my videos. You know, I wake up very early in the morning. So usually about midday, I start to feel tired, and I actually do this silly thing that a lot of people probably think is crazy. But I will come home from work, make either my coffee or matcha. By coffee, I mean espresso, because that another thing about that is I found personally that when I drink coffee, that I will feel ready to go to sleep at the end of the night, but then it'll pop back up. It's like the coffee lingers, espresso does not. So when I refer to coffee, for me, it's only espresso, or I'll drink matcha as well. But so back to what I was saying is I will come home and I will make either my coffee or my matcha, and I will take a nap after I'm done drinking that, which seems kind of silly that you drink coffee and then take a nap, but it usually takes a moment for that to kick in. So I take like a 20-30 minute power nap. I wake up and now I've got the energy of sleeping and the energy of the caffeine all at the same time. And I'm like a rock star ready to go in and jump into whatever I'm trying to do. So that's my little helpful get through the day tip for those really early risers. But of course, it's a personal thing. You may not like doing that way. A lot of people, they do their coffee in the morning anyway. So like I said, I could list a million reasons why sleep is really good, but we're going to stick with some of the basics. So a strong immune system, so I get sick less often. A lack of sleep will definitely compromise your immune system. It's probably one of the biggest things. And if you think about how many people walk around tired all the time, that means that most people are walking around with a compromised immune system just simply for not sleeping enough. It does also help recovery with your workouts, which is why now that I do work out more than I used to, I require more sleep. So the other thing is better focus. This one seems like it's kind of obvious, but you do tend to be more productive and you make better decisions when you're rested. So when you're tired, you're more likely, my kids know this one. If mommy's sleepy, they know that they can ask me permission to do things, and I may say yes without even thinking twice about it. And then later down the road, and they're like, but you said I could do this. And I don't really recall that I told them that they were allowed to do that thing that they asked when I was overtired and not thinking straight. So better decision making when you sleep better. Now, for a lot of you, you may find that falling asleep is easy, but staying asleep is a struggle. Or you may find both, that you have trouble falling asleep and trouble staying asleep. So this is going to be very personal. There's different things that are causing this and different things that will help each person. So you kind of have to discover that for yourself, but I can give you a couple of the tips that I have. And again, the article that I have on my blog on the website, does give a lot of different advice that can help. So just like with everything else, I'm going to go for a few just basic tips. You do want to discover what it is that helps for you to personally unwind at the end of the day, because that's different for everyone. Getting off your phone is usually huge. turning the volume down on your phone for any phone calls or text messages, or even I put myself on do not disturb. So aside from my kids or like any immediate family, no one can really contact me after a certain time of the day. So that might be helpful. So you're not constantly getting bothered by different things. A lot of people fall asleep with the TV on. I'm not one of those people. I don't like to have the TV on when I'm going to sleep. And they do say in a lot of studies that electronics are not good, but I do know a decent amount of people that turning the TV on helps them to fall asleep. So like I said, it's very personal for everybody. So if this is something that works for you, then go ahead and do it. If it's helping you to fall asleep, there's no reason that you shouldn't do that. So your bedtime routine is also, if you have a bedtime routine, this is also really important. And in the workbook, you're going to kind of go over a few things of discovering what your bedtime routine is. But if you have a routine to help you to unwind, this is going to help you to fall asleep better. And it'll also kind of help you pinpoint those little things that are keeping you up in the middle of the night. So like I said before, with the coffee, I discovered that if I drank a cup of coffee, even if it wasn't super late in the day, I would suddenly wake up in the middle of the night, not be able to fall back asleep. And I read enough stuff for the past couple of years about this, where coffee does tend to linger. So this was it was like recaffeinating me in the middle of the night, which was not helpful in any way whatsoever. So you kind of have to find the different things that might be causing you to wake up in the middle of the night. It could be stress related. It could be just like a million things on your mind of what you have to get done the next day. And whatever it is, you figure that out and it'll definitely help. So I'm going to go over really quickly what my bedtime routine looks like, because that might help with some of the things. So I start off just as soon as I start washing my face, I'm into my routine. I don't drink any liquids within an hour before I go to bed. No tea, no water, anything like that. I know a lot of people do like a bedtime tea to kind of help them unwind. I do as well. I like to do a probiotic ginger tea before I go to bed, but it's usually at least an hour before I'm going to sleep, because I don't want to have to wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom. I do have trouble falling back to sleep if I get woken up. So I try to make sure that I eliminate any reason that I would have to get up in the middle of the night. So that's one of those. I look over my to-do list before I go to bed, and I write down anything that I'm afraid I'm going to forget. Because one of the things that has woken me up, or not necessarily woken me up, but kept me up if I've gotten awake, is all the different things I'm thinking about that I have to do the next day, or just different things just in general. So if I write these things down, then it makes me less likely to stay up throughout the night worrying about those things. I check all of my alarms before I go to bed to kind of see how much sleep I'm going to be getting. So if I was going to bed at 9 and instead I ended up going to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, then I would change the alarms that I have in the morning to a later time. So I'm still getting the amount of sleep that I want. I know with work, sometimes that can't happen, or it also means that I'm going to be rushing through my morning routine because I didn't get enough sleep. But I'd rather rush through my morning routine than not get enough sleep. That's how important sleep is for me. So you kind of have to prioritize on that. So the other thing, I get off my phone. Like I said, I'll put my phone on to do not disturb, but I also will get off my phone once I'm done with all of those things, like done washing my face, I'm not on the phone while I'm washing my face, but done with all of that stuff. I try to get off my phone, because what I've noticed is if I stay up later than I want to, it's because I was just on my phone looking at something stupid and I didn't even need to. So I will take my phone away, and that helps me to make sure that I actually go to bed at the time that I want to go to bed. So that's pretty much it for my nighttime routine. All of those things kind of help me to fall asleep. I've wanted to practice doing an evening yoga right before I go to bed, but like I said, with adding in all the different habits, that's one of those that just the way my schedule has worked, it would take away from other things that are important to me. So like spending time unwinding with the kids is more important to me than going and doing the yoga flow before I go to bed. So I don't do that, but I do know for a lot of people doing that helps them to unwind as well. So I hope that that's all helpful. If you go into the workbook, there is definitely a lot of stuff that will help you in there. So you want to develop your bedtime routine. And definitely, if you are someone that struggles with sleeping or staying asleep, read the article that I have on sleep, or you contact me and I'll definitely see if we can come up with things that will help you to get better sleep, because it's huge. Like I said, save the best for last. Sleep is so, so, so important. So that's it. We are done with all the healthy habits. Tomorrow, I am going to go over how to start implementing everything. I don't want to make it too difficult for you. So I have a plan for how to take all of this in and start using it right away.